Welcome to Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. I am Gat, your host. A viewer has requested an angel card reading, so that's what we're going to do. Now, if you're hearing this video, you're probably online. So if you want to see the cards that are being pulled, all you have to do is go to a search engine, Yahoo search, whatever you choose. And when I say the card in the title, you'll know exactly which card. You can view it. It'll all be from Doreen Virtue's Angel Oracle cards. It's 45 Archangel cards. Alright. So we have 7 cards. 7 questions, rather. That's a good question. Because, what's good, this person is a regular client. And I just did a new moon video. So that's either on this channel or the other channel. So, with this reading, I'll be referring to her natal chart and maybe that reading as well. See, whenever you're dealing with any zodiac sign, you always, once you know their sign, do the research. Because I know I've heard that about Geminis, and I just said that in a new moon. That's why I even told her, I said, try to listen to the intro. Because I went over that just yesterday and say how a Gemini will be interested 1 minute and not interested the next. So, what I try to help people with, and it can be difficult because you may meet somebody and you may really, try to learn the person, learn their zodiac sign, but that might push them away. Like it could be difficult sometimes. Because sometimes, like that's what they were saying about the Gemini. If they when you're a challenge, they're interested. But when they feel like you're no longer a challenge, they're not interested. Now I don't know if that's the case yet. We will actually Archangel cards. But it's just ironic that she's asking that question when the order she placed is what I talked about. I definitely spent a lot of time on Gemini, and I don't remember the reason why, because I just get in the groove, I get in the spirit. But I know we talked a lot about Gemini yesterday in the new moon read. So that's why when I sent it to her, I told her, okay, I know this is pretty long, so I gave her the times, so she knew when she could hear her video at this time. But I also told her you should also listen to the other stuff, because it really, because you have to get a little background. But it can be frustrating because you might start to put your time, like a lot of time in, and then the person doesn't respond. And then it's funny because sometimes when you honestly don't care, or maybe somebody else comes in your life, then all of a sudden now this person wants to be interested. But that's being in this, like the more you understand this matrix that we're in and how it really works, you'll be a better person because you won't stress out. Like I've learned, me personally, I got to do what I got to do. I can't base my life on anybody else because none of these people are going to guarantee to be there. Anything could happen. You could be with somebody, they decide they don't want to be with you. You could be with somebody, they cheat on you. Anything could happen. So I can't base my actions or my decisions or nothing on nobody else but myself. So working with the archangels, working with life, growing up in this third dimensional planet, that's what I've learned. It's not being pessimistic or negative. It's just being realistic. Because sometimes people are in the fantasy world, which we talk about in the new moon video as well. When you go into the fantasy world and you start believing stuff that's not true. So that's a really good video. Because the new moon, I do believe I'm not going to say for everybody, But I do believe this new moon will change some people for the better. Because really, in this life, and they've been saying this long before I was born on this planet. They were saying, "Oh, it's a dog eat world." Blah, blah, blah. So there's a reason why the good die young. So all these sayings were going on before I came. So you can't blame me for telling the truth. And so I teach people to be stronger and smarter, and that way you can deal with it. Because like I said, it's beautiful when you can find a fantasy love. Like when you first meet somebody and both of you guys, oh, I met Mr. Right or I miss Mrs. Right, and you're all happy and on the beach, moving in slow motion like the 1970 movies, and the wind is blowing through your hair if you have hair, and you're running up the beach and everybody's happy. But there's going to come a time when reality is going to step back in. You understand? When that person is going to get on your nerves, you're going to get on that person's nerves. And that's life too. So I try to teach the full thing. I don't just teach the lovey-dovey. Most of these people on YouTube, they're suckers for love, and they spend a lot of money on a pipe dream. And there's a lot of well-trained con artists that know how to get your money doing it. I don't do that. I just tell you the truth. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. And sometimes it's just trial and error. And what I've learned, sometimes it's just tell the truth. Shoot from the hip. Because women go through all these, what if this, why is that, or why is that? But that's called pausing and hesitating, which is only going to make the matter worse. And then sometimes when they jump ahead, it's in a confrontational, adversarial way. You got to stop doing that, because that's already going to push somebody away from you. But there's nothing wrong with communicating. And we learned yesterday with the new moon reading, we learned that, and this is the new moon, April 5th, 2019. And we learned that Gemini likes the conversation. That if you failed to communicate with a Gemini, they're going to lose interest in you. All this was learned yesterday. That's why I love how the universe works, because that was her first question. So what I'm going to do now is pull the chart up and look at anything quick for Gemini. Like I said, we will be asking the archangels as well. And give me a moment. I'm just looking for the... Okay, here it is. So, I'm noticing Mars is in Gemini. Well, it will be as of the 5th. And what I'm going to do as well is look at a recent transit chart for right now. And right now, ironically, Juno is in Gemini. So you have to be mindful of that, because there may be other interests. There may be another love interest. So I would strongly advise her to make sure she listens to the new moon reading I did, make sure she listens to her section, and make sure she listens to the whole explanation of the new moon and the analysis of that transit chart for the new moon, because that may hold some of her answers. And if she has time, she may even want to listen to the analysis of the middle chart, because a lot of good information came out on that middle chart. But right now, the universe is showing that two things. You have to understand Gemini. In the tarot card, Gemini is the lover card. But that card is not about lovers as much as it is about doubt and confusion. Right now, 18 degrees in Gemini, that's the moon. That's the moon tarot card, 18 degrees. And that's also about doubt and confusion. So right now, Gemini is going through doubt and confusion, and possibly even uncertainties. And ironically, right now, Mars is at 28 degrees with the ascendant, but that's very close to 29 degrees, which is the karmic degree. So I'm sure that energy is also affecting Gemini as well. So now we know astrologically what's going on. See, this is the kind of stuff you really want to be aware of, because it's easy to think it's personal, but it may not be personal. It may be astrological. Now, if you want to see the other chart I'm dealing with, all you have to do is go to the New Moon April 15th video. If you don't see it, it should be right there in more recent videos, because I just loaded it yesterday. And if you don't see it, then that means it's on the other channel. And then you can get that picture. Because the picture you'll probably see for this video is the most recent transit chart for today. And as you can see, it's all about Gemini. And that's house number 2, just so you know. The EPAC, that's house number 1 with Taurus. And I believe that's her sun sign. And then I'll definitely double check. That's not a problem, because I got all charts right here. I'm just trying to get this chart organized. All right. Yep. Sun sign Taurus. So I'm assuming Gemini may become a little bit more liver around the new moon, because Mars will be there. So the closer you get to that new moon, April 5th, 2019, you might expect some sparks coming from Gemini. But again, to be prepared, make sure you listen to those readings. Because even Juno's at 22 degrees in Gemini at that time. And remember, 22 is a twin flames number. So whether it's your twin flame or not, it's still going to have romance to it. 22 is the 1111. Right now, Juno is at 18 degrees, and the moon can confuse you. But they did kind of say Gemini can be somewhat of a confusing sign because you're dealing with two polarities with Gemini, the twins. So you can be mindful of those as well. Alrighty, so we will ask this first question. Dear Archangel, we thank you for coming. I have already petitioned the Archangels. It's always a pleasure working with the Archangels. Thank you so much for coming, Archangels. Dear Archangels, why has there been a breakdown in communication between her and the Gemini? I'll be back with the answers. 4 cards were pulled. Just remember, the 4th card was one of those, not really sure, but it could mean something, but I won't know, so I don't want to comment anymore. But the 4th card was definitely a not really sure card. So I'll talk more when we draw it, when we turn it over. First card pulled, Divine Order. That's Raguel Sagittarius. And again, I talked a lot about Sagittarius in a new moon reading. Everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusion and see underlying order. And Raguel is holding the 2 scales, the balance. And for me personally, I always saw this card as a relationship card. I kind of compare this card to a Libra card because both of those deal with the scales. But remember, you ask about a Gemini and he comes back with the scales, the 2 scales. So that's Raguel, Divine Order. And again, I gave you a lot of information in your new moon reading on how to perk a Gemini's interest in case it gets a little cold. Because they said it would get cold. So you have plenty of information, and I would strongly advise you to tap into it before the new moon. Because right now Juno is in Gemini. So the universe is definitely attacking. The universe is definitely hitting him with Juno and love and thinking of a relationship. And it may be physical or just in the spirit. But at some point it is going to manifest. And it is interesting that at the new moon, his Juno, which means a serious relationship, is at 22, which is a twin flame number, 1111. So, Raguel is saying everything is going according to divine order. Anything else is an illusion. Second card. Remember who you are, Archangel Michael. You are a powerful, loving, and creative child of God. You are very loved. Because like I said, that's the main thing we have to know is to love ourselves. And we forget that sometimes, and we think something or someone externally is going to help us. But really, if we don't love ourselves, it's going to be hard for anybody else to cultivate that in us. And what I'm saying is, when you love yourself, people can tell when they come around you if they don't love yourself. I mean, because it's been a lot of transitions here in the last years. Because I was taking a passive outlook. Because you're getting older, you don't feel like arguing with people. But unfortunately, that doesn't mean they're going to stop arguing with you. So where I'm at, literally, almost every area around me, I live on a corner, and almost everybody around me was just provoking, doing all kind of crazy stuff. Now, in earlier days, I would have handled that quick. So I tried to walk away, but you can't walk away because the more you try to walk away, the more arrogant and diabolical they become. So finally, you get sick of it and you go back to who you used to be. With now you're letting people know, boom, 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 boom. So now that I've done that, there is like order has been restored to a certain degree. But I know it probably won't last. But I mean, if you're talking about 4 or 5 different houses of neighbors, they've all been put in check. Even duking it out with the township, they've been in check. And then I had a very unwanted trespasser that the police didn't want to do nothing about. So they had to constantly deal with them. So the point I'm making is, when a person sees that, oh, she cares about herself, it's less of a chance they'll play you out. But when they see that you don't stand up for yourself, or they're doing whatever they want and you're not saying nothing about it, it's going to get worse. And that a lot of times you lose. Like I said, you hear me out here whining a lot of times about female. Like I really had a deep love for Michelle. I would have loved to have been in some type of relationship with Michelle. But the real reason why me and Michelle didn't click wasn't because anything was done wrong. It's just because I didn't give her a reality check. Because that's what she was looking for. But I refused to argue. Because sometimes guys like you. When guys really care about you, they don't want to argue with you. But sometimes that is necessary for a female. Like, she's got to see your emotions. She's got to see that other side of you. Otherwise, she's not going to be with you. So that's why I wasn't with Michelle. But at that time, I'm glad I didn't. Because you have to understand, I already came from that. When I was younger, I was already housing stuff. Doing things, making sure things were the way I wanted it. So I'm glad I got away from that personality. Like, I'd rather be who I am now. Because I don't like having to talk to grown adults like I'm talking to children. But unfortunately, they won't function. And I also work in customer service. And the majority of the people that come in want us to tell them what to buy. Ain't nobody telling me nothing. I'm a grown man. I'll listen and then I'm going to make my own decision. The idea of somebody telling me. But that's because my background has been very abusive and I was in a cult. So I don't like anybody. And all these people were liars. They're all bullying me. But they're all a bunch of liars. And they don't even do what they're telling me to do. So I'm very funny about stuff like that. So the point I'm being made, and if you listen to your video on a new moon, it basically said that about a Gemini. Like with a Gemini, you have to come with information. You can't be passive. You have to pick information that they would be interested in. And in that study, it did tell you what type of information the Gemini likes. That's why it's funny that this was the first question, because we already covered that just yesterday. So she has plenty of ammunition and references. But right now, Raguel is saying, don't worry. Everything's going according to the plan, the divine order. Michael's saying, well, make sure you love yourself. But he also said creative. Because that's what they said. With a Gemini, you have to be creative. Because a Gemini becomes bored. They become bored quickly. So you have to kind of keep them stimulated. Third card. Thank you, Archangel. Oh, look at this. Hanael. One of the most passionate cards in the deck. So that's why I said, if you're at a search engine, type in Hanael, passion, and that card should come up. And she's dressed like a warrior, ready to go on travel, but she's dressed for the weather. But she's also beautiful. It's a very beautiful card. And it's called Passion. Trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. Now, why do you think she said renewed? Because they know a new moon is coming. I already told you what's going on with Gemini, astrologically speaking. This is why we do astrology. See, this woman right here, she's very wise because she knows to do astrology. And you want to do astrology with people to know what they're talking about. Not just somebody that makes you feel good. Because this is how it really works. Let's just say I'm going to make up zodiac signs. Cuckoo and Doo-Doo. Oh, that's what Cuckoo and Fufu. Cuckoo and Fufu. Two different zodiac signs. let's say she's trying to get with Fufu. We're trying everything. We're doing the cards. We're doing the natal charts. Checking your daily horoscope. We're doing everything. But for some reason, Fufu just ain't clicking. Like me and Michelle. Just wouldn't click. Like I said, at that time in my life, I was trying to get away from the pushy. That's why I waited 2 years to talk to her. I wanted Michelle as soon as I seen her. And usually I would have. But I was changing at the same time. And my older sister, who's no longer alive, she said, stop running after women. Let women come to you. You're always running after women. So I was changing. I was becoming more, I guess, more spiritual. I was always spiritual, but now I'm being more really applying it. More mature. And I actually said, the universe will bring us together if it's meant to be. And the universe did. The universe always brought me and Michelle together. And many years later, Michelle Knight said, and I was reading my horoscope, they said, tomorrow you're going to find love if you're ready for it. I said, man, tomorrow all I'm doing is going somewhere really quick. And sure enough, she came right through the door because she was a clerk or whatever at the store I worked at. And even though her hours had changed, she had came back. So that's like the universe gave us that last opportunity and put us together again. And she knew. And that's why she walked away. But the reason why Michelle, it took me a while to figure Michelle out. Like if I had gave her a reality check, me and her probably would have had something to relate, some type of relationship. But I never would give her. But see, that's what you females got to realize. Sometimes when a guy likes you, he doesn't want to argue with you. But y'all, the way y'all see it is if he doesn't care. But he does care. That's why he doesn't want to argue with you. So it's hard. But that's why sometimes you need counseling. But that's why I'm so passionate about what I do. Because if you really feel a certain way, then why do you give up? And in my era, like at that particular point in my life, and probably even this point of my life, what I needed from her, she wasn't able to give it. Or in order for her to give it, I would have had to become who I didn't want to be no more. And that's why I left her alone for 2 years. And like I said, I don't regret that decision. Like if I could go back, it would go down the same exact way. Because I needed somebody to like, I want you to want me. That cheap trick. I needed that. So she didn't have it at that time in her life. And what she needed was a guy to kind of treat her like he was her father or something. And see, those type of females, like, it's not good because you're always going to have to treat them like they're your daughter. And I'm not looking for a daughter. I'm looking for a mate. So, in my opinion, that would have never worked. So even if I had became a tough guy and got her attention, like if I told her off and got her attention, it still would have kept repressing back to the same old silly stuff. And that was the same problem with my twin. These are grown women that haven't grown up yet, and they want you to come down. And I don't want to be in high school. No, I haven't seen high school in decades, so I don't want to go back down. And it's not that they're young. Don't get me wrong. So don't think that they're so young that they're not. No, these are grown women, but they just don't want to be grown women. Like they say, girls just want to have fun. So you got when you're thinking about something that's real, you have to keep this in mind. And so, like I said, it may not work out with Fufu, but yet if you do it the right way, you may be better prepared for a cuckoo. And maybe I shouldn't have said cuckoo because now you say the person's crazy. But see, cuckoo might be a little bit more ready for a relationship, a little bit more mature. Whereas Fufu is just not ready. That's the bottom line. Whenever the universe puts two people together and they're always standing next to each other or together, they both know. They both got to know this ain't no coincidence. Especially if one makes it perfectly clear to the other one, I'm interested in you. So now the other person is either going to be like, okay, well, let's do something about it. Or they're going to play hard to get or whatever. But they still know. And then when the universe does it again, puts you two together again, so they know. So if the person keeps running or whatever, I don't need that. I would never want my relationship to be that complicated because life is that complicated. So, and I've always said that. So I'm looking at my relationship as somewhere I can, you know, release stress, not have more stress. But unfortunately, that can be one of the most stressful things in life. So that's why I said I personally slowed down. But because I do love myself, like Michael said, you got to love yourself. And I am creative, and I do believe in myself. I already have Haniel's passion. And as long as I have that, whoever I attract to myself is going to have to be part of that. Because I'm not going to go backwards. And a lot of times when you go backwards, you get stuck in a rut. And now you're still not happy because you're not being who you really are. So what they're telling you, these 3 cards so far, is first, remember who you are. Make sure you have love. And then like when she says trust, she's basically telling you the same thing that Raguel told you. Divine order. But Haniel says trust and follow your renewed passion in your love life and career. So what I'm trying to say is something a rapper said, Slim Shady or Eminem. He was talking about some of his albums that didn't do too good. He said, but what these people don't understand is, in order for me to get to this album that everybody is saying is much better, I had to go through that. So when you are doing your part, like they're telling you to these cards, everything's fine. And if it does look like the universe is not tending to your desire to be with someone, then that's when you have to flip it. But you'll still do better. Again, like a kung fu movie. You take somebody like a Bruce Lee. He could change his style. That's all, but he's still the best. See, what people do is say, "Oh, listen, I tried that and it didn't work." You said that for Fufu and it didn't work. Now it's not working for Cuckoo. I think you're Cuckoo, but it's not. Life is not easy, and all of this is a journey. Like, I had a pretty good relationship with a female that lasted for a while. When I first met her, I didn't like her. Like, I was like, this is like over 20 years ago. I was much younger, so I could be an asshole. So I just didn't like her. But she was always around, but I didn't like her at all. So then the female that I was supposed to be in a relationship with hurt me. And then that female was there through that whole transition. So then me and her started being a couple. And it went pretty good for a while. Then it crumbled. But I would have never thought I would have been in a relationship with her. And when it was good with her, it was real good. It just crumbled. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. This is a journey. And you have to look at it. That's what Michael's trying to tell you. Just remember. And Raggy was telling you too. This is divine order. Because when I first saw Michelle, that was the biggest thing. Wow. And I wanted to run up on her immediately. And I didn't. And I just kept hearing what my sister said. Stop chasing them. Let them come to you or whatever. And I was changing, so I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be that type of Leo no more. And I said the universe will bring it to me if it's meant to be. And it sure did. But then was it really meant to be? And the reality is not. Why? Because I couldn't be what she wanted me to be. I was already that guy. I was already bossing people around when I was a young kid. That's what she wanted. And that's what a lot of women want. They want a man telling them what to do. And nobody tells me what to do. I'm a grown-ass man. My bosses respect me. So I don't like telling nobody what to do either. Unless I really have to. That's why I said I've never been, I've worked in marketing all my life. But I'm a really good presenter. But I never really do the clothes and stuff because I don't like the. It takes an art of persuasion, and so sometimes it's straight up pushiness, and I don't like doing that. So that was the real deal with Michelle. What she needed was a guy that basically would tell her, but it still wouldn't work though. Because after a while, you get tired of somebody telling you what to do. And what I needed was somebody like, let's do it. I want to go out. Okay, let's go. That type of person. Or if they can't go Monday, they'll go Wednesday or something like that. But they definitely want to go. I needed it. That's like a need. So it was a standoff. Now, what did I learn from the experience? Okay, then now remember this whole thing goes from probably 2001 to now. Because I saw Michelle maybe about 2 years ago, year and a half ago. That's the last time I seen her. She doesn't work there no more. But what I learned was I have to be more precise on who I am now and what I'm looking for, what I need. And unfortunately, it wouldn't be a Michelle it wouldn't be a female like Michelle or Rosa. Rosa is my twin. Because it's just too much immaturity. And I don't want to go backwards. So it would have to be, even maybe somebody older than me. It would have to be somebody that's on that level because I'm not on that high school level. And that's, it's not a bad thing. You just have to know where you're at. So all these cards are saying that. These 3 cards so far are all about internal love, internal knowing who you are, internal trust in a relationship. So like I said, it might not have worked out with Fufu. Maybe it works out with Google. I remember one time I went on this date. It was kind of funny. Because I was just like the 90s, the late 90s was a transformational time for me. I just kept getting hurt. And I wasn't going to fight back. Like, see, before that, I was dominating. I wish somebody would. Like, I was literally that dude to be at your door. Like, worst mistake somebody could make at that time. I'm not saying now. But at that time, if I'm talking on the phone and they hang up on me, man, I'd be at their doorstep. So that's why I wanted to get away from that. So 98, I stopped being that way. So then I started getting bullied. Like all the women just started running on top of me and stuff. So then I met this one female, but I couldn't make a decision. Like I was hurt. So I worked at, like, I was going to this computer class and it was all women in there. So I would be asking them because I couldn't make a decision no more. I was so hurt because I felt like everything I tried with a female just kept failing. Nothing worked. Nice guy, it didn't work. Pushy didn't work. Like it just didn't work. So I said, man, I don't know what to do. So I was just asking the females. Like if I had a date, I would come in and ask the females in my class, and they would tell me. Like they would tell me and shit. Because I couldn't make a decision on that anymore. So I had met this one female, and she was a preacher's daughter or something like that. So from the very first phone call, she was talking like, she kept saying we, and just like let me know I want to be with you. And we had not really even met yet. She was letting me know I want to be with you, and she was talking all this stuff, but I had been hurt so much that I couldn't see it no more. Like I really couldn't see it. So I was asking the females I work with. I said I met this female, and I told them what it was, and they were saying, man, she's a preacher's daughter acting like that. And they was like, you better be careful. They said because preacher daughters, they be wild. And he said, you haven't really even gone out with her already. She's already talking about kissing and stuff. She's not a preacher's daughter. So they was just trashing her. And I'm serious. I could not make a freaking decision. My emotions was shot. Because I really tried hard for this stuff, this whole relationship stuff. I really did. Tried changing, tried doing everything. That shit always went to hell. And you can't, like I said, you can't keep blaming the person. That's why I said at some point people have to grow up. So that's my problem. That's what I try to tell when I do all my videos. If you're at any level of immaturity, how dare you blame somebody else? So so this one, she really went out of her way to show me, oh, it's gonna be real and gonna be real. But by that time, I just couldn't. I ain't trust her. Like, I just been hurt too much, and I'm sick of getting hurt. Why are you being so, That's how it was. Cause if I had met her earlier, it would have been totally different. But because of all that bullshit I went through with her, it was like, nah, you moving way too fast. I just met you. You talking about you a preacher's daughter, but you damn sure ain't acting like one. And all these females is dishing you. Like, ain't one of them take up for her. Like, the whole classroom. Because I was in it, like I said, it was all women. It was like 6, 7 women. And I would just ask them, because I'm I've always been transparent. So I couldn't make the decisions. I just didn't trust her. So it was our first date, and she kept asking for the kiss, asking for the kiss, asking for the kiss. And I was like, nah, I don't think so. So what I'm trying to tell y'all, everything is a journey. But when you believe in yourself and believe in whatever, it works itself out. And life is crazy. Like, I can't explain it to you, but it could be a Michelle part 3. I doubt it, but it could be. Might be somewhere and I might see her. She might talk. Like, there was a fast food restaurant I used to go to, and I just took a liking to this female. Like, I was just going through something. Now, this is like 2006, 2008. No, 2006, 2007. And I'm still stressed out. I'm still going through all kind of stuff. So I took a liking to her and stuff. So I was trying to let her know I liked her and shit. So she finally realized that I liked her. But it never blew up. But guess what happened? This was around the holidays I went in there. Because people change around Christmas or whatever. And she really went out her way to talk to me that day. Like, but not just like customer service. This was different. Like, she was really trying to, be more like, hi, how you doing? What's going on with you? Like, being really intimate. So things can change, And I remember one female like that. Like, she was real friendly and stuff like that. But then when I got a phone number, but then when I started to call her, then it got too real for her. Plus, she had a boyfriend. So it's how it is with females and people in general. But what I'm trying to tell you is that's called the journey of life. And I don't know. Sometime by you doing a little bit more, you could change it and make it. And then sometimes it's just a journey. Like, it could still be a learning experience. Like, one of my best dates was somebody I didn't get along with at all. But we went to this one location that was so romantic. And we just both sat there. Like, we enjoyed the moment. But we enjoyed it separately and shit. Like, we was both there watching the same shit and enjoying it. But it had no intimate relationship with her. But it was still beautiful. So one of my best dates was with somebody I just didn't like her. For a lot of different reasons. So a lot of this is a journey. But the more you build yourself up. That's why I say you can't be immature and then blame somebody else. You gotta make sure you're ready for whatever you're looking for. Like, you might not be ready for the whole relationship. And that's fine. But if you are, make sure you're ready. Don't look at the other person like, why? No, don't look at them. Look at yourself. And if that person's not ready, they're not ready. Go to the next one. And if you don't want it, then you don't want it. Like, if you understand the laws of Mayat, you're not supposed to break people's heart. So let's just say I did want to be a player. So it's nothing wrong. And that's what I want to do. That's between me, God, and who's ever going to play. But don't hurt people's heart if you know they're not playing. If you know some female is really looking for something, don't hurt her. But if a guy said up front, listen, I don't got no control over you. You ain't got no control over me. I'm just meeting people right now. But he told you straight up. So if you're one of those females that go crazy, that's your fault. Because he told you straight up he's not looking for whatever you talking about. Or vice versa. Female might say that to you. I'm too young. I'm not ready. So they're already telling you. So how dare you get mad when you find out they're screwing somebody else or on a date with somebody else? They told you up front. So it's a crazy world we live in. Now, having said all that, so love yourself first. It is a journey. Make sure you know astrology. We already found out what Gemini is going through right now. And we already told you, make sure you listen to that information that you ordered, because there's tons of information on Gemini on that order. And that's what the universe gave. That wasn't me saying, oh, I didn't know. Because I do so many charts, I forget. You don't have to pull them back up and look at them. But that was the universe that gave you a whole lot of information on Gemini. How to date a Gemini, how to relate to a Gemini. Now, this fourth card, I didn't know if it really wanted to come or not. Sometimes you get cards like that. Sometimes they hold a unique message. Sometimes, I don't know. Fourth card is Natal again. Woo! And this is the most passionate card in the deck. Is Natal sensitivity. Woo! She says you are extra sensitive to energies and emotions right now. Honor yourself and your feelings. So this is sensitivity. And also that's with the moon going on. I tell you right now, and Natal is the high priestess. So her planet is the moon. I got a lot of weird stuff going on with the moon. And I have see my twin flame is a Mexican American. So I have a lot of Mexican Americans in my neighborhood, but they all are being used by the universe because of my twin. Because I know this because of the timing. But I'm not going to go into all it. We'd have to go back years. We'd be out here forever. But they work for a company that means the moon. And it's funny because a couple of days ago, somebody called me that name. And then all of a sudden today, like a lot of stuff went on today. That's why I wish I could go into it, but I can't. But either way, a lot of stuff went on this morning. And that truck just pulls up at that same spot with that name. But the name is basically the same as the moon. So these are all messages. Thank you, Natal. So looking at the cards, they're seeing good things with this situation. And she's telling you to honor yourself and your feelings right now. So however you choose to do that, you got to figure it out. Because that could mean anything. Honor yourself and your feelings. You might, whatever. Some people do things where they go into their own zone or they got their own whatever. Some people work with crystals. Some people work with different incense and smoke or whatever. Some people may say, well, it just means I'm going to go out. I'm going to treat myself to a Sunday. I'm going to go out. I'm going to eat. I'm going to honor myself. I'm going to go out and party. I'm going to go out and dance. However you do it. But she's telling you to honor yourself and your feelings. And also be honest about your sensitivity, what you're feeling. Be honest about it. All right. Just give me a moment. I got to think about the second question. I'm just going to be quiet. The reason why I'm really quiet because I'm looking at the charts. Now, during the new moon, the Leo will be in the third house. Let me look at it again. Give me one moment. Okay, it'll be in the second. Leo will be in the second house, which is your house, during the new moon. Because the second house is Taurus, and that's your house. So that'll be interesting. I was listening to one card reader last night, and she said that a lot of her readings for Taurus were the same for Leo. Her recent readings. And see, now, just so you know, on your chart, your fifth house is Leo, but your Jupiter is 3 degrees. That number 3 will always correspond to Gemini, the third house. Also creativity, new projects, and children. And so your fifth house has a lot of your third house in it because of that number 3. And also with children, because both Leo and Gemini, the third house and the fifth house, deal with children. And a lot of times it could be like adults that are childish. And another thing I have to say, like when I get quiet like that, it's because I'm working with spirit. Another thing I have to say is I have to make this perfectly clear, and I know this is what people don't want to hear, and this is why people don't want to back me up. But they don't want the truth; they just want the world to do what the world. The world's not always going to do what you want it to do. Sometimes you have to learn how to function within the world. Now, because what I'm doing, I'm going by the cards. So the first 4 cards seem to be pro this situation you're asking about. So when that's the case, like I said with Michelle, she saw me for years coming to that store. And don't get me wrong, because she might have said, oh, who knows? But she also knew the person I had been with for 8 years, because she worked in that store too. But you do move on. Me and her have been separated for a long ass time. Or whatever. So that was totally over with her. The one I was with for 8 years. So Michelle knew all that. And I did talk to her off and on, so she had enough to make whatever decision she was going to make. But for whatever reason, she chose to be typical and play games. And then when she lost that game, now she's mad because now I'm seeing somebody else. So in her mind, she could say, well, he could have did this, he should have did that, he should have did that. But it does come a time when you are going to move on. Because I just feel like if we're playing this game already, we haven't even been on a date yet. Imagine what it's going to be like if I get into a relationship with you. It just seems like you're not mature enough in that like some people can keep a job. I just recently said this, probably on that New Moon video. Some people can have the maturity enough to keep a job, but they can't keep their relationship with their man or family or whatever. So when I look at the cards, pretty much everything was positive. So in any situation, we have to make sure that we're where these angels are at. That's why I said I knew I had to change. And I'm glad I did. Because I was sick of being on a low level. Because nothing's going to come from the low level. A great example, I was just talking about when I went down to Cherry Hill. Many, many years ago. Went down to Cherry Hill to meet this female. And finally, it was a long trip, got lost, and we finally connected. The moment we're walking to her apartment, she goes, okay, there's a man in my apartment, so watch what you say. Now, I'm coming this was a long-ass ride, and don't nobody want to hear that crazy shit. This is a long-ass ride, you knew I was coming, you know it's a date. So why would it be a man in it, and why I gotta watch my mouth? Alright, so now you put me in an uncomfortable... And see, y'all gotta remember back then I would definitely commit violence. So you don't tell me I'm not watching my mouth around nobody. And I didn't watch my mouth. He left. I made that dude leave. He didn't make me leave. I didn't care. So this is what I'm trying to say. That's just foolish. This is why people drop you and don't call you back. And that's what happened to her. Because she kept doing it. Not just for that, but she kept doing it. You know, you call her, she's on the phone with some other dude, so she's talking to you like you're garbage, put you on hold or something. Then when she call you back, now she want to talk to you like, oh, how you doing? How was your day? And I'm saying to myself, my day was good. I called your crazy ass. You understand? So I had to drop her. But I was like, that's how I was back then. Now I'm way more considerate. Now I'll take the loss. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings. I'll take the loss now, but back then I was just sick of it. So what I'm trying to tell you is I'm going by the cards. And the cards are saying great things about a great opportunity. So we got to make sure we don't do shit that push somebody away or make a person think twice about us. And that's what I mean by maturity. And everybody's got to learn it. Like I watch my younger sister. My younger sister has been something like you say, unmovable force or some crazy shit. She's like that energy that's going to have her way no matter what. And she learned that from her mother. My mother. So I've been telling well, not so much now, but I used to always have to tell my younger sister in the early days, you're not going to be in a relationship like that. Relationship ain't just about somebody doing what you want them to do. A relationship is, y'all got to compromise, work together. And see, when you say stuff like that, that's what a Gemini understands that. Because a Gemini, that's what he does. Communication, multitasking, compromise. This is all in his whatever, DNA, essence, whatever. But one thing they said about a Gemini was they don't like to be out of the loop. And people are not stupid. Like, they pick up really quick. So that's why I be trying to tell people, believe me, I'm just being honest with you. Because I would rather see people successful than to rip you off. Because I was, like I said, I was talking trash when I first came out. And I realized these people wanted me to lie to them. But the money was there. The money was good. And I was like, man, I'm not lying. So that just made me mad. So I always do the opposite. It's just my person. I'm not going to lie to you. So then people didn't want to use me. Because they want me to talk about twin flames and make it seem like it's a big, beautiful thing. And they want me to lie. But we all know that's not true. It's hundreds. It's literally thousands of twin flame videos out here. That should tell you right there that people ain't getting together the way they're supposed to. That's like if you drove by a mechanic shop and you saw hundreds of cars, you would say, man, does this guy fix these cars? How come every time I come by, it's just hundreds and hundreds of cars? How many does he fix? Does he fix any? That car over there has been there for 2 weeks. What is this guy doing? What type of shop? You wouldn't bring your car up in there. But when people's feelings get involved, they forget logic. So it's 100,000s of twin flame, divine masculine, Venus in the seventh house videos out here. But how many people are really connecting? That's what I want to know. Because otherwise, you're just paying your money to hear somebody talking crazy, and you believe it. But if it's not no results whatsoever, you're being had. So the key to any situation is, like the scriptures say, put yourself in that situation. Or the golden rule, do unto others as you have. Like, it's just, you have to be considerate, because a lot of times somebody like a Gemini, they pick stuff up quick. So you may think, oh, he doesn't know, he doesn't, but you don't know what he knows, or what he, because you get suspicions. And you have to be careful, because like when somebody tells you what's up front, you might not like it, but you can respect it, because they never like try nothing slick. But once somebody tries anything that's slick or hidden or whatever, and you find out, now you feel like you can't trust this person. So the energy of the archangels is higher than us, but it's an encouragement to realize, like I keep trying to tell everybody, for me, I had to change, and I don't regret that. And I won't let any female pull me back to that high school mentality, because none of the people I deal with are in high school. These are all grown adults. So if that's how they choose, girls just want to have fun even though you're a grown adult. It's all right to have fun. I'm not mad at you wanting to go out and be youthful. But there's a time and place for everything. And mostly what I see is a lot of people run into some childish behavior, but they don't do what they need to do, like clean their own houses and the stuff that you should do as an adult. And then it's in their relationship, they could give a F less about it. They really could. They act like they care, but they really don't. And this is why you see people falling back and not wanting to be in a relationship. And also, a lot of men are like sensitive males, infats, and those type of. These are unique men. So they're not the old school guys that were like a little higher than apes. These guys actually got like sensitivity and stuff like that. So you got to be mindful of that too. And the secret to all this is always look within. Just like those cards just told you. Always look within. Don't go external. Because that's what the problem is. Because you go external, you think it's something. No, no, no. Always look within. And then let's say you look within and you really didn't do anything wrong. Then that's a good thing. But you might look within and you might say, oh yeah, I never looked at it that way. Alright. And again, I'm basing what I'm saying on the cards. Every card was positive. Even showing Like I said, when Hanael comes out, she's coming out for a reason. That's the boss. That's the leader of the tarot card. That's the high priestess. And that's what I'm talking about. The evil in people. Because when you take somebody like Michelle, what I loved about her was she was a worker. Like for the moment I saw her, she had this productive walk. Plus she is extremely beautiful. But that wasn't why I was attracted to her. She was a worker and stuff. And I'm a worker. And I like, man, we probably could like do great things together and stuff. So that's how I'm looking at it. And for me to wait 2 years and all that, I obviously respected her. Like that's why it hurt me. Like I mean, Rosa hurt me on a different level, but Michelle was different because Michelle was always somebody I looked at like, wow, I really think we could be a good couple. With Rosa, it was never like I just knew, I guess from intuition or whatever from past life. I think me and Rosa probably had a shitty relationship in the past life, and we had a shitty relationship in this life. But that doesn't mean I don't love her. I love Rosa. But we can't communicate because she's just way too immature. And she's somewhat of a nut job. So what I'm saying, it was the evil within Michelle that caused all of that. Because all I had was pure intention, pure everything. But it was the evil within herself that destroyed everything. That's why I say go internally. We like to try to don't go externally, go internally. All right. I'm going to ask the second question. Dear Archangels, please inform us of any intimidation feelings or any related information concerning the Gemini. So this question I changed just a little bit because again, you want to get the angels like when you're in court, they tell you don't lead the witness. So you want to make sure the angels are informing you of the situation. Like I don't want to say, hey, archangels, tell me why my girlfriend is mad at me and always thinking and blah blah blah, because you've already made up your mind of what you see, but that might not be the situation. So you leave it open. You leave it open. If there's any imitation, please tell us, or any related information, and then they'll begin to tell you, like, yeah, your girlfriend's pissed off because you don't flush the toilet when you're done. You never take the garbage out. You come to bed late every night. You never come to bed with her. So it could be a whole lot of reasons why she's pissed off. So you gotta leave it open so that they can answer the question. All right, I'll be back with the answer. 3 cards to answer that question. First card is Kyle, which is a Gemini. Gemini energy. Counselor. You are a natural counselor, and many people benefit from your guidance and reassurance. This card is saying The Gemini don't feel like you're communicating. That's what I'm trying to tell you. See, my ascendant is a Gemini, and they're not really with the BS in the sense that, and you're gonna hear the same information when you listen to your new moon April 5th video. Geminis ain't really with the BS, and if they sense that you want some other stuff, they're not really gonna want to be bothered with you. And they're gonna tell you the same. They want to communicate. This is why this card is saying counselor. It's Azrael. The card is called counselor, but this is talking about communicating, and you even see what's really going on. Like you see that angel, he's got his arm around her shoulders, but Geminis need that. So it's like you're slowly killing them by not communicating with them, and it can't be no bullshit because they're not about that. And that's why I say a lot of times what a female has to learn to do, and this is part of growing up. This is what I'm talking about. A lot of stuff y'all say is kind of true, but you got to put real life application to it. Let's just say you're a female and you're single, and you're kind of talking to Bobby because Bobby's a little interested. But you're also talking to David, and well, neither one of these guys are trying to marry you or whatever, however you're looking at it. So you don't really see nothing too wrong with it or whatever. And that's kind of true. But what you're leaving out is people have feelings. So now Bobby's wondering what's going on with you and Dave. Dave might be wondering. So it's not that you sneak around and creep around, but you still have to be a little bit aware of that. And like I said, because the woman can kind of like play the innocent victim, but she's not the innocent victim because a lot of her activity has caused that situation. So it's not my fault I'm attractive. No, nobody's saying it's your fault you're attractive. But the bottom line is you're still aware of the situation. Just like I said, let's go back to what I came all the way to see this female. Now, don't get me wrong. That female I went to see, she was probably A+. I give her the utmost respect. Looking back on that whole thing, like from the moment we met, she was A+. But like I said, I was just tired of that whole lifestyle. And I had just had some shitty, crappy relationships with people. And I just was tired. I wanted out. So I don't want to keep hearing about this dude, and that dude. And especially if the moment they're around, you're going to talk to me differently. Because I ain't played that. Like I said, my mentality was, oh, watch what come out your mouth. And there was some other stuff too, but that's neither here nor there. Point being made was, if you know I'm taking this long drive to come see you, and we got all these plans, why would you have some dude in that apartment that you might used to be your boyfriend or some craziness and telling me to watch what I say? So I don't know. Maybe you're not catching that. That's like you going on a date with a dude and y'all already talked about it. Oh, when we get to the apartment, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. And, so your mind is already set on what y'all said y'all gonna do, and you ready. And then as you get closer to the apartment, I go, hey yo, my ex-girlfriend's in there. Just be cool. Watch your mouth. What the fuck? What are you talking about? Who that? What the? So you know how people can be, especially with females. That could be a fight right there. So what I'm saying, you got to think. Because you can't be mad at Bobby for being jealous of David. And you can't be mad at David for being jealous of Bobby. So I'm not telling you to lie to anybody. But you do have to think, because it's drama you're causing. And I try to teach females, at the end of the day, let's say they both leave you, or whatever happens, at the end of the day, you're going to be the one that's not where you need to be. See, that's like, I see things differently. That's why I say either I'm with you or I'm not with you. But what we not going to do is play games. I done grew up out of that stupid stuff. I'm not in high school no more. Either I'm with you or I'm not with you, because we're not going to play games. Or if we all know we adults or whatever, it is what it is. But therefore, I never have to worry about somebody accusing me of lying to them or some other fake shit. So I'm a grown. I don't have to explain where I was at. I'm a grown ass man. I'm not with you. And people don't like it, but they respect it. And as crazy as it sounds, you'll have more females wanting to be with you, acting like that, than when you act like you really want to be with one of them. Because then they're going to treat you like shit. This is the crazy world we live on. So, point I'm trying to make is, when you understand this, that's why I said you have to understand zodiac signs. You have to understand psychology. Because right now, the first card that came out said he feels like you ain't communicating. Again, if y'all want to see what the card looks like, it's Azrael, Counselor. Archangel card, Azrael, Counselor. And if you understand, it's the communication, which is what a Gemini needs. And we just studied this yesterday when I did the new moon in April 5th, 2019. Gemini needs that communication. Many people benefit from your guidance and reassurance. See, he needs that. And when you heard me talk about Michelle, you heard me say the same thing. I needed her to want the situation like I did. Even a little bit would have meant so much to me. But she just played like an a-hole the whole time. And then the moment I started seeing somebody else, which I don't know how she figured it out, but somehow supernaturally she knew. And she knew that female was a singer. Because I never heard Michelle sing until after I started dating a singer. But this is how crazy this shit gets. But like I said, looking back, it was just a game. And it would have stayed a game because it was too immature. And I would have had to give in too much of myself to get Michelle where I needed her to be. But I don't want to have to, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to make somebody feel that way. That's almost like being in a cult. When you really don't believe that shit, but they lock you in there and they brainwash your ass, and now you saying, oh, the self-cult people be saying. But that's a cult. They don't really mean it. Because as soon as you take that person away from that environment, they're going to go back to being who they really are. That's a cult. So I don't need no female where I need to be her father to make her feel a certain way. Because that ain't real shit. That's the result of me, like, forcing the situation on her. Next card. Again, the question was, dear archangels, please inform us of any intimidation feelings or any related information concerning the Gemini. That's why I made it an open question. We're not just going to accuse the situation. Oh, tell me about my girlfriend because she's mad at me. No. You're assuming she's mad at you because of this reason. We need to find out what's really going on. So the first thing that came out was a Gemini card where he said, why don't you talk to me? He said, well, a man, that sounds feminine. No, it's not. Men can have feelings too, ladies. Stop being so selfish. Second off, he's a Gemini. They love to communicate. And all this information was given in the reading I just did yesterday on a new moon. It was all about Gemini. Look it up. It's all in that video. Second card. Jophiel, clear your space. Jophiel is the Libra card, relationship. Get rid of clutter, clear the energy around you, and use Feng Shui. What Jophiel, a good friend of mine is Jophiel. What Jophiel is telling you is to get your shit together. Clear your space. Get your shit together. Because it's just human nature to go, oh, my girlfriend. I don't know why she. No. What are you doing? Let's deal with ourselves first. See, this is why my numbers stay low. This is why I'm hated out here. Because I tell people that you got to grow up. We're not children no more. We're adults. Might not like what I'm saying, but it's still the truth. What happens to that female that runs around all her life? Like if you've ever seen a female that's really, really attractive and everybody wants to get with her and stuff. But it's going to come a time when she's going to get older and mostly all those dudes, they're going to want to be with her. It might be one or two dudes that wanted to be more than friends with her, and she might not be attracted to them or whatever happened. And sometimes she don't even get with them. And sometimes them females, like you could see them sometimes and you could look at them and you'd be like, damn, you know, she was fine back in the day. And I know I went to school and that's what happened. As soon as I walked in the classroom, the female was like that. And she was talking to me and hanging out with me. And so me and her started talking more and more. And then that's what she said to me. She said, if you think I look good now, you should see how I used to look. And she said, I could get anything I wanted. She said, I could get anything I wanted from any man. And even when I saw her, she was still very attractive. But I could tell, even before that. But what happens when all that, you know, the glam and the glory goes? When the guys get what they want from you and that, you know, people move on. And now you were a party girl, but now, you know, and some of them, they're horrible because their bodies are drugged out and they're horrible. But, you know, what do you get after that? Like I said, I'm not mad at nobody that knows how to make shit work for themselves. I don't have to agree. Like one time I was doing a call center, telephone surveys. And I called this one female, and I could tell in her voice that her life was, and just by the question she was answering, but her life was just, she made a lot of money. And it probably was some form of pleasure, pay me for pleasure. And she made a lot of money, like to the point you could hear it in her voice. And then when I was asking her, because at the survey they ask you how much you make, and she was just laughing. She was like, no, higher. No, way more than that. And she was that serious. Like I did these surveys, most people wouldn't answer like all the questions. She answered all the questions. Like she had no fear of answering questions. And when it got to the finance, she was like she made unbelievable amounts of money. Probably pay for pleasure. But the bottom line is, I don't know what her health was, because sometimes all that stuff, you mess your health up. But I'm not going to be mad at her. I mean, it's none of my fucking business what she did. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to be mad at her. You know. But I had to respect it. Because she answered every question. She had nothing to hide. And if you knew how many surveys I take where people don't want to answer questions, she answered every question. Even the money one. A lot of people don't want you to know how much money they're making. She was laughing like way above that. So that means like if I got to how much you make a year, 50,000, she's laughing at me like way more than that. Like that's not even on like that's like me going somewhere and spending $2. That's how she responded. Like that little bit of money, 50,000, that's nothing. And she wasn't lying. Like every question she answered. There wasn't no bullshit or nothing. I could hear it in her voice. Like one time I was talking to somebody and I could hear it in his voice. You know, when I heard him talking, I said, he sounds like Radar on A-Team. I said, he sounds like Radar on A-Team. And I said, excuse me, sir, are you a pilot? He said, yeah. He said, how did you know I was a pilot and shit? But I could hear it in his voice. Like you could tell he had been up in the skies and just had that freedom and stuff. So don't forget I'm intuitive. So my point is, when you can sit back and look at your life and say, hey, you know, whatever I did, I got something to show for it. You can't be mad at that person. You might not agree with what they did or how they did it and all that, but you can't be mad at that person. especially when she's so confident that she had nothing to hide. Because that's how I try to be that way. Got nothing to hide, nothing to talk about. I've dealt with anything. If I made mistakes, I dealt with it. But I don't want to be, this creepy darkness and all that, because nothing good's going to come from it at some point. So remember, Gemini is about the twins. Jophiel or Libra is about the scales. Libra, the relationship. And the scales also mean be fair. Again, it's like do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So you asked about a strong influence. A strong influence is this. He's a Gemini. He needs communication from you. He needs to feel needed by you. He needs to feel wanted by you. And if you go about it any other way, like waiting around for him to make the move and stuff like that, all you're doing is pushing him further and further away. And that's what happened with me and Michelle. Next card. Angel Therapy. Raphael, the healing Archangel. Give your cares and worries to us angels and allow us to take your burdens. Well, that was good because she's the one who requested the angel card reading. So that's one way of giving your cares to the angels. But you can. When I first got this deck, I introduced myself to everybody. I opened up the deck and just started looking at each card, reading it, studying it, and introducing myself to all the energies. I did the same thing with my other deck, which was Gabriel's deck. When you're really with this, like I call these cards my family. I call these archangels my family. When you're really with this, that's where it needs to be. It can't just be something you turn to just to get a quick high or a quick fix or a quick read. You got to really believe this stuff. And when you do, you stop fearing stuff. Like I said, and I recently said this, it's kind of like a female might be interested, but I know I want something real. But because of the way the world is nowadays, she may not think like that no more. I remember when women wanted it. And I'm not even mad at y'all. Don't think I'm mad at y'all. I respect your independence, but like I said, you just can't be little girls no more. You gotta learn how to be an adult. Like what I said, that woman I talked to on the phone, I respect her. No matter what she did to get where she was at, I respected her. We had a great conversation. She didn't lie about anything. And she didn't care. She made a lot of money. She didn't feel guilty. And she didn't care what. You gotta respect that. That's somebody I'm gonna trust. That's somebody I would trust like the first time. Which I don't trust nobody. People look at me and they could tell, oh no. Not him. And they think I'm angry. I'm not angry. I love my life. I love what I do, but I'm a warrior. I'm not with this silly shit on this planet. All kind of crazy shit. Like when I'm talking about my neighbors. Why does all their shit end up on my yard? And like everybody, like if I got 4 people around me, all 4 of them are throwing. Why? Say, well, they don't like you. I don't even be out there. It's not that they don't like me. It's just that they got evil spirits on them. And that's why they go out of their way to start shit with me. I know what it is. That's why I know how to fight it. I've been doing this for decades since I've been here. So my point is, there's a lot of mind games. And what they try to do is make you feel like you're the bad guy when you're not. They did the same thing. If you read your scriptures, they did the same thing to Messiah. It was his fault that they were wicked ass people. It wasn't his fault, it was their fault. So when we do this, when we begin to take responsibility and we begin to grow up, we'll see a different world. Don't blame the next person. What's going on? And like I said, even if it is the next person, like I had somebody start a fight with me recently. I just stopped talking Because every time I said anything, they took what I said and flipped it and turned it into a lie. So I stopped talking. I stopped giving them flames to the fire. And then thank God they went on about their day and I went on about mine. Because you're going to meet evil people and stuff like that. But if you don't really have to talk to that person, don't. And like now, as far as in my neighborhood, okay, well, your garbage, your stuff is not going to be on my property. I let you get away with it long enough. If you do it again, now you're going to have a problem. But now they're thinking twice before they do the silly stuff they used to do. So you got to know when to talk, when not to talk. And you got to understand what you want out of your life. Because the more you understand what you want out of your life, you can begin to act towards it. And what you females don't realize, I challenge any of you females that hear this video, why don't you ever send out a note to somebody that maybe you did have a relationship with? Send them an email, send them a note. Be humble about it. It's not going to hurt. Like I'm going to say it again, I agree with you guys. I was there in the 60s and 70s when men married women. And a lot of times they treated those women like housemaids. And I was there. You should have rebelled. I would have fought. I did fight for you. I had to defend my mother against my father. I saw the energy. But that was way back then. So because of that era, family life became horrible. Men became targets. And now you guys don't understand how beautiful it could be. Now, and I've tried it. Try taking somebody out on anything. Now listen, if I say picnic, the first thing y'all gonna say, why is it gotta be a picnic? Why not a restaurant? I've done restaurants too, ladies. No matter where I take y'all, it's some bullshit. Let's keep it 100. Don't get mad. Don't boo. Let's deal with it. Let's deal with it. So you got to get to the point where the drama stops. I mean, save it for when you really need it. But every day shouldn't be a living hell. Especially if a guy is trying to relate with you and trying to do the right thing by you. What's with all the fucking drama already? I don't want to wake up every day with this crazy shit. So again, see things from that person's perspective. See things from that person's viewpoint before you just assume that it's jealousy or anything like that. It might not even be jealousy. He might just need you to talk. That's the greatest pain in the world when you actually care about a female and she can't see it. And it hurts so fucking much. And I just like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? And then you get mad. That makes you madder and shit. So that's why I said I know I'm on a planet and I understand metaphysics. I understand about the darkness. I understand about the light. And I understand about the drama. I understand all of it. But that doesn't mean I have to agree with it. And that's why I love being a lion. That's why I love that the sun is my ruler. And that's why I'm glad I'm rejuvenated by the truth. Because once you got that, no matter what these people on this planet do, they can't take that from you. And when they marched that Messiah to the cross and killed his ass, I can see why. I can understand what he was feeling at that time. They could not break that man. They tried, but they couldn't break him. So either you're going to wake up out of this energy that's on this planet, which is third dimensional, very low, dense energy. It's a little higher than animalistic, or you're going to stay there. But when you stay there, then all you're really doing is playing a game, because you're going to something higher than yourself. You're going to the stars and the angels to ask them what's going on. But then when they give you the what's really going on, you don't want to do it. What it means is, if you have anybody in your life that you owe that person some type of communication, whatever that's called maturity. Not sitting around talking about, oh, why didn't he call me today? Or he must be mad at me. And all. Who says he's mad at you? How do you know that you talked to him? Where are you getting this information from? Why are you basing so much on drama? And I'm talking collectively. Because I've seen this my whole life. Where are you getting this information from? What are you basing it on? And why does it have to be dramatic? Or why don't you just ask them? That's why I said, for a female, if she messed up and said, I'm sorry, I think the man, he might start crying. Because they're not used to hearing that. And again, I understand why you got so aggressive. Because y'all did get played out. Because the guy should have been telling you, I'm glad you married me. And I'm going to try my best to make your life happy. And he didn't. And it was like housewife. You know, and it went from housewife to fucking maid and babysitter. And I saw these disgusting, pathetic men. You know, they want to do shit. The woman's cleaning the diapers and all kind. And the motherfucker won't get up. And I hated it. I hate it because you fucked it up for me. Now I can't get a good woman because of you assholes. But unfortunately, that's the way it is. But now we're at a point that it's just totally messed up because women don't understand. You owe something to that person if you're in any type of relationship. You owe something and you think you don't. You think he's supposed to do everything and he's not. So I'm glad the universe is sending these sensitive ass men and y'all can't deal with them. Y'all said y'all wanted a sensitive ass man and now you've got one and now you don't want to deal with him because you think he's a punk. But you asked for it. So it is what it is. Either you'll grow up and realize that you owe that person communication instead of sitting there asking why don't he communicate with you. Then you should communicate with him then. Where my real women at? And that's why my younger sister's still married. Because she knows how to communicate. No matter how she chooses to do it. But she will communicate. You got to remember something, ladies. If you guys got emotions, men got them too. Whether they show them to you or not. But the more you show them yours, the more you're going to see theirs. So whenever you're dealing with anybody, it's a two-way street. Not just you doing, oh, what about this? What about that? What about that? And for the female that understands what I'm saying, that's the female you're going to see in a relationship. For the female that continues to act like Michelle or any other immature female or Rosa or some crazy shit, that's all they're going to ever have. Is that low-level, low animalistic shit. The guys that they get with usually don't stay with them. Baby mama drama, and on and on and on. When you step it up, the universe will step it up. If you don't step it up, you're going to stay at that level. And that level is allowing a situation of drama to occur and then acting like you don't know what the hell just happened. Oh, why does he feel, why? The mature aspect is, you know what? I do owe that guy something or whatever. Hi, this is so and so. Hope you're fine. Blah, blah, blah. Could we talk? Could call, or you could just read this or whatever. However you're gonna do it, but at least you opened up. And I'll tell anybody because this is something I learned about females. I've had many instances where a female was not interested in me in the least in a relationship, and I approached them on Monday, and they weren't totally not interested. But then all of a sudden, by Thursday or the next Monday, they've gone home, they thought about it or whatever, and now they're with it. And now they become more interested in me than I was in them. So whenever you send anybody any type of communication, give that person time to think about it, read about it, whatever. If you believe in God or that you can pray about it if you want to. But you got to keep the channels. Don't think the man is the only person. It's two of y'all. So don't think the man. Don't just think the man going to do it. The man going to do it. Why don't he do it? He don't do it. Oh, right, what's wrong with him? No, what's wrong with you? You communicate. Watch the whole world change if females just do that one thing I just asked them to do. The whole freaking world would freaking change. All right. Now your number 3 question, and I'm gonna try my best to leave it. The way you asked it. Dear Archangels, please explain the Gemini's feelings regarding her and the Leo. 4 cards picked to answer that question. First card, take back your power. Well, that's interesting because that's the Leo card. That's Raziel. Use your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. Next card, beloved one, Samuel and it's a Taurus, and that's interesting. I am helping you with your soulmate relationship. Next card, clairvoyance. Raziel again. I am helping your spiritual sight to awaken fully so you can clearly see heavenly love. And remember, Raziel is like the older man, the ancient one. Fourth card, Samuel again. Peace. Peace comes from remembering only love is real. And this is all coming out under a new moon. This is interesting. Because this journey started yesterday. Because I spent a lot of time talking about Gemini. A lot of time. Because that's what the spirit was showing me. What I'm getting from this is, see, that's why I told you, this is how it really works. Because you're asking about, how this is affecting the Gemini, why Gemini's acting a certain way. But they keep coming back to you. Samuel, the Taurus energy, which is your sign, is talking about your soulmate, and peace comes from remembering that only love is real. And then Raziel represent that Leo as well. And see, biblically speaking, if a female, see, what y'all got to remember is y'all let like this country dictate your moral code, but this country is not going to be there when God judges you for your moral code. So just because America told you can sleep with whoever or do whatever, don't mean that God's going to say the same thing. So what they're telling her is in the Bible. Let's just say, okay, let me use myself as an example, because people will take stuff. See, I don't. This is why I get better every day, because I don't take shit personal. If it's real, it's real. Just deal with it. You don't have to get emotional. I mean, you can get emotional in your own private room or cry or whatever, but don't get emotional. Don't want to fight nobody. No silly stuff. If somebody's telling you something that's going to help you and that's real, it's real. And that's why I came up with gangsters. So constantly somebody was teaching you, beating you, or putting their foot up your ass. But that's how. But I'm still alive, y'all. So that's why we could always, oh, when I was young, somebody beat me up. But if that helped me, if that beat down took place 40 years ago and I'm still here, then I thank that person. Because if that person didn't beat me down, maybe I'd be dead. Maybe I'd be a statistic. All right, so you have a lot of orange in these cards. Now, orange is a real good number. I mean, all these cards I keep pulling got a lot of orange in it. Orange is a real good number. Has to do with prosperity and stuff like that. Now, biblically speaking, let's just say I meet a girl named Shantae. I'm Shantae. Now this is old school stuff. Now everybody see me and Shantae together. Me and Shantae be out in the public together and all that. So this is like a community where if they see you with a female all the time, they assume y'all gonna get married. And that's used to be how it was. But like places like this country and other places have messed that up. So now every now and then I talk to Robin. Me and Robin cool. We've done a little, not as much as me and Shantae, but me and Robin, But now Robin getting jealous. I don't even know why Robin jealous. I don't even like her like that. I mean, yeah, we kissed a few times, and we did a couple of things, but I don't know why she mad. She see me with Shantae. So what I'm trying to tell you is, in that community, because you always with Shantae, and everybody kind of figure y'all always together, y'all get married. In that type of community, you could be stoned to death. Because there's laws and stuff like that, and it's a way to conduct yourself. Now I know people say, "Well, I'm glad I ain't in that type of country or that type of community, whatever." But what I'm trying to tell you is, there's still judgment gonna come. Now I'm trying to tell you that this is what these cards are showing you. You asked a question earlier, and the card that came out was the same zodiac sign of that person you was asking about, and telling you how that person feel. Well, I feel left out. I feel you don't share stuff with me. I feel you don't talk. I believe we could work through this if you was just willing to talk. But it seems like you don't want to talk, so I'm starting not to trust you. I'm starting to pull away from you emotionally. And that's why you asking the questions you asking. So then, when you ask the question about jealousy, now remember, jealousy is fiery, like a fire sign. But who comes up? The Leo. But not just the Leo energy, come up with Chamiel. Well, Chamiel is a lot like Haniel. So the Leo comes out. So Leo comes out, and then Taurus. You're a Taurus. This guy's a Leo. And these are all soulmate cards, and talking about peace comes from remembering that only love is real. Take back your power. So the point being made, can't be no fake stuff. Because somebody's going to get hurt. And so far, it look like it might be the Gemini. So far. Could be somebody else, but so far, it look like it might be the Gemini. All right. So the second card, clairvoyance, and the third card, clairvoyance, and the fourth card, they both got almost the same exact colors. A form of fuchsia, a pinkish, orange, and then the Chamiel card got oranges. Well, so do the other one. But the last two cards almost look exactly alike. All right. So primarily in this, the two energies are Chamiel, the soulmate archangel, basically telling you where to focus. And he even has the dove when he said peace. Now, again, that's just being humane. That's why I say people don't realize. Like even Rihanna wrote a song one time, and in the song it was about her. She is with this one guy, but she really loved this other guy. She is with that other guy, having sex with him and all that, just out there. But like I said, a lot of people, that's what they really want. They want that passion. They want that just unbridled sex and stuff like that. Like the relationship is something they think about, but they don't want to be in a relationship if they ain't getting that drive. And that's why I said a lot of people, as much as they want to be in a relationship, they really kind of don't like it because it can get boring real quick. And even if the sex is real good in a relationship, it still gets boring because it's the same room, the same person, you know. And it's not that people want to be a hoe, but people just don't want it to be boring. And that's why it's hard if you work in a full-time job and all that, and you trying to have a relationship because it's going to get boring. And then once somebody cheat on you, it's never going to be the same. Because it would be hard for me to forgive somebody who cheated on me like that. You know, I would be like, okay, you can go your way, I'll go mine. If I see you, we could talk for a couple of minutes, but I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk to you regularly. I'm not going to ask you how you doing and shit. So that's the planet we on. That's why I said you have to understand all of this. Because the more you understand it and realize the reality, you'll make better decisions. You might not like to hear it. That's why people don't like me. They don't like to hear it. But the moment they understand he's not lying and they start to deal with reality, they'll be living better. So that's really the answer to your question. In this particular video, they kind of identifying the Leo as a soulmate. And when I did these readings a long time ago, I don't remember who or what. But I'm talking about right here and now. In question number 3, they're identifying that Leo of being a soulmate. It could be more than that, but that's what's being identified. And also Leo, and probably you too. But the Leo has extrasensory perceptive powers. And again, that energy, whether you call it his higher self or whatever, that energy and all that is also going out and attacking that Gemini. That's why I said it's not that the Gemini feels a certain way or jealous or what type of power you have over him or all that. It's that this energy is coming from probably the Leo, but maybe even you. But it's an energy that's repelling that Gemini. And again, I'm not here to say what's right or wrong. I'm here to tell you what's going on. But that energy can be very powerful. Alrighty, a lot has happened since I put this on pause, and I don't know. I don't believe in accidents or coincidence. So everything happens for a reason. So I'm gonna briefly explain. What definitely took out about 4 to 5 hours of my day. I placed an order online for a certain part I needed. Was supposed to be delivered by one particular company, but they gave it to, I guess you could say, the local company to deliver. Now, the carrier is relatively new, but from the moment they came on, all kind of problems, missed deliveries, and all that. And I've had to duke it out regarding certain documents that are supposed to arrive on a certain day, and that wasn't happening. It's just been crazy, crazy, crazy. But that's just life. And you know, it just depends on who you are, what you stand for. So it's always something. So now, but I'm just going to show you about divine timing because I was up here. I had forgot that package was coming today, and then something just said to me, "You better check on that package." So I said, "Yeah, that's true." I jumped up, went to my email, and that's when the company said, "Hey, we gave it to your local carrier. They'll take care of it." And I'm like, "Here we go with this bull again." So then I just happened to look out the window, and there was a local carrier. Bam, bam, bam. So I'm just waiting because I know how anything can go wrong because this has happened before. So the local carrier came, didn't leave the package. So I waited and went try to go up to the person, but this person has a habit of missed deliveries and some other stuff, misplaced wrong, wrong mail or wrong locations and all kind of crazy stuff. So I was trying to ask them about the situation, and they immediately said, oh, I don't have a package for you or some crap like that. I said, all right. So I go back inside, and just as fast as they get back in their vehicle and go to the next street to deliver whatever, another email came from the company that was supposed to deliver me. And they said, yeah, they delivered it at your doorstep. I said, okay, now this has happened before. There's some bull. So now this is where the nightmare begins. Okay, so I figured I could just call a local and get it taken care of. But now you can't call a local. Now you have to call a 1-800 number. And then here comes the bureaucracy, all the bullshit where you put on hold forever and then, oh, nobody will be able to address your situation for a whole hour. And you know that turned into definitely longer than an hour. So I'm just bouncing around doing the best I can to get my documentation correct and stuff like that. Because here comes the foolishness. And like I said, I won't go into all of that, but this is the life of being on planet Earth. So I had all the documentation, and while I'm waiting for this person to come on the phone, I'm also online getting complaints and whatever. So now the person looked into everything, and she could see that the package was stopped, but they wouldn't tell me the address because I could have went and got it. Because that's what happened last time. Same thing happened. I was out there cutting hedges, knew I had a package coming. Person pulls up. I say, excuse me, you have a package for so and so. Give him the name and address. Oh, no problem. I'll take a look. No, don't worry. I'll take a look. Goes and takes a look and says, no, I don't got no package for you. I got two packages on your street, but neither one of them is yours. So I figure, all right, whatever. Keep on cutting hedges, whatever. Go inside, and I get the email. Your package has been delivered at your front door. My package ain't been delivered at the front door because I was out there cutting hedges at the front door. Ain't no package delivered. So then I realized this guy just messed up. Now, this is a different day, but it's the same BS. So now it's like a Saturday, and they close. So I'm like, they close early on Saturday. But I called anyway. Only by the grace of God, just like what happened today. Only by the grace of God, somebody picked up. And thank goodness I picked up. Somebody that picked up was nice enough to say, okay, I'll see what I can do. He could have said, you got to call back on Monday. But he didn't. And then he got on the computer or whatever and told me which address. And I went immediately and got my stuff. Because you're spending a lot of money for this stuff. You can't have it just dropping off anywhere. And this time the lady wouldn't tell me which address. So fortunately, about an hour or so later, the guy, because on the package is the phone number, my phone number to myself. So he called it. And it was like further up the street. So I went and got it. But all that could have been avoided just by that female not, being typical. You know everything, you don't want to listen. Boom, boom, boom. Because you really don't care. And that's what, no, she's always doing this all the time. For the moment she came on missed deliveries, wrong mail, just crazy stuff. But see, had she just listened, I could have went and got it. And I wouldn't have had to go online or place a phone call. Because all that stuff goes down in written records. And plus, see, these people know me. Because this is what I'm trying to tell you. I'm constantly, when you're really on a righteous course, you're going to see opposition. So I'm constantly going through shit like this. That's why I already know the routine. Get your documents, get facts, and only say facts. Don't say anything, because they're going to keep on trying to tell you somehow that was your fault. It wasn't my fault. She just doesn't do her job correctly. And it's not the first time. And what I'm saying is, okay, we can all make mistakes, but when somebody's asking you a question, don't be arrogant. Because that whole complaint would have been avoided if she would have said, you know what? That particular company did come to the truck or whatever, and I did have a package. And I just dropped it off up there. If you want to double check, I would have went up there and said it was mine. I would have just took it. Because I really went out there. I went out there walking up and down the street, just looking on all the porches to see if my package was up there. And I did go up to one porch to look. And I didn't care because I feel like it's mine. So if people are offended, listen. If something's on your porch that belongs to me, I want my stuff. Because the longer you wait, the less of the chance it's going to come back and the condition it should. So what does that got to do with this? Well, divine timing, I call it. But things have to be organized. Like apples with apples, oranges with oranges, stuff like that. Because when you're not organized, this is what happens. And like I said, if she keeps getting complaints like that, they're going to either have to retrain her, or she may not be having that job, because you just can't be messing people's orders up like that. All right, so now, so that is the message that these archangels are giving so far. They're kind of saying where the focus should be. With the answer to question number 3, they're kind of telling you where the focus should be at this time. And they made it very clear. Okay, 4th question. Dear archangels, please advise what she should do in her communications with the Gemini. I'll be back with the answers. Alrighty, just so everybody knows, I did re-invite the archangels after that major interruption. I believe it's 4 cards were pulled to answer that question. First card, patience. Jophiel again, Libra energy. Your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. So you got to find out ways to nurture. And again, that new moon video that you ordered, that I delivered to you yesterday, was full of ways to nurture a Gemini. And in this card, she's outside watering with the garden. Because Jophiel always tells you to get out into nature and things like that. Next card, Life Review. And this is Scorpio energy. Jeremiah. Take inventory of your life and resolve to change or heal anything that is unbalanced. So they're telling you also to go inward. Your Scorpio has Uranus retrograde. Uranus retrograde is just anything can come out of anywhere at any time, but a quiet person might all of a sudden become very talkative. A talkative person may all of a sudden become very quiet. But you still got that 18 degrees, which is the moon, which can also be fogginess or confusion. So again, with that Uranus retrograde, I think they're telling you have to work on consistency. But if you're sending out those type of messages, one day it's one thing, next day it's next, it could be very confusing. And what a lot of people think, they really believe like, well, if a guy's really interested, he'll hang in there, or I'm worth it. But it depends, because a lot of guys won't for whatever reason. So it's not always going to be how much the guy wants to talk to you and how much he's willing to chase and put up with. Sometimes the universe is going to pull a fast one on you, and it's going to be how much you really want it. You're going to have to be the one hanging in there and proving it. And I mean, that's fair. So, like I said, with a lot of these questions that come out, and any of these readings, is at the end, it depends on how mature a person is and how much they really want it. Because if they're not mature, they're going to stay at that junior high school level. Or if they want it all easy, again, they're going to give up, which is still immaturity. And then you have people that really want it when they begin to take in the information and they begin to do what's necessary to show the other person, and listen, I'm real about this. Next card. Clair cognizance. Uriel energy. Now that's funny. I was just talking about Uranus, and now here's Uriel, which is the equivalent of planet Uranus. This is so interesting. So that's what they are saying. They're saying you're giving double messages. And that's why I said we have to learn to stop saying, "Oh, what's wrong with so and so? Why is so? What are we at?" And making all these assumptions about so and so being angry or jealous and all that when it's us. You got to go internally and stop blaming externally. Uriel, planet Uranus, and this is going right in Scorpio, right with Jeremiah. So this is how you know this is accurate. Going right to your natal chart. And it's been doing that through this whole reading. Claircognizant. Pay attention to thoughts and ideas that come to you as they are answered prayers. So they're co-signing the whole life review, looking at yourself, being honest. Best thing you can do is always ask what I like that if somebody did that to me. Let's just say you're a female and you just love attention and you're all the guys always, it's not, I don't see anything wrong with it, so what? It's harmful flirtation and no big deal. And you know what? That's cool if you don't mind your boyfriend or somebody you care about doing it. You understand? Because if you get upset when somebody you care about does the same shit you do, again, immaturity. And that's that drama queen. It's okay if I do it, but you can't do it. That's like you're with somebody and your phone rings and you're talking, your phone keeps ringing, you're talking, and never tell a person you're with who you're talking to. Ever. And he's not supposed to ask you either. But then his phone rings and immediately, who's that? Wait, who are you talking to? Blah, blah, blah. So, again, that's that immature little girl, don't want to grow up type shit. It's okay if I do it, but you better not. So this is why this shit fails, and this is why people end up cheating on people, and all kind of crazy stuff. And like dudes like me are going, when are you going to grow up? Like I said, I commend you ladies. You beat the men's asses back, and they deserved it. Back in the 1960s and early 70s, they tried to house y'all, and you went from being a housewife to a slave, basically, and worse than a maid and shit. And y'all fought back and whipped the men's ass. And I'm a flaw. I was fighting with you. I applaud you for that, and always will. But now, this crazy shit when nobody wants to grow up and everything sucks, but nobody's man or woman enough to deal with it. So now the universe is sending guys like me that are saying, okay, no more. No mas, no mas. Time to stop the craziness. Time to get off the crazy wheel. Time to get off the crazy train. We got to look at what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how what we're doing is affecting another person or affecting a situation, and we shouldn't have the audacity to ask what their problem is. Got to go internal. So now you got to work on consistency is what you're being told to answer the question. Next card came out. What should do with the communications with the Gemini? Azrael. And I was going to tell you that. And I was going to tell you if Azrael shows up, that's Capricorn. But Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. This representing maturity. It has to be some mature behavior. Now, Azrael says, hello from heaven. Your loved ones in heaven are doing fine. Let go of worries and feel their loving blessings. So again, Azrael represents Capricorn energy, but Capricorn is ruled by Saturn or maturity. Thank you, Archangels. And these cards, was a lot of different shades of green. Light green, darker green, and primarily darker blue, which can mean truth. Green can mean healing as well, but green can also mean getting out of nature. All right, so your next question was, what would Spirit have you to do at this point about your connection to Gemini? But if you notice in the previous question, you did ask about that. You asked about the question to the Gemini, and the answer they gave you was, 1, be patient. It's going to take nurturing. In other words, you got to do your part. 2, you got to examine yourself. That's why I said it's easy to go, this was Jeremiah and Scorpio. So when we look at where your Scorpio is, there it is, Uranus. And Uranus is retrograde, which means that's like bipolar. Like, it's inconsistency. Can't be inconsistent. You got to mean what you say and say what you mean. And that's why I said it's just human nature to think a guy's or a person's always going to be there. But they may not. That's why I've learned, just like the Archangels tell me, you have to learn how to be thankful, even for that moment. Like, I had a couple of what I call great moments with somebody at a department store. It was just great. But I was wise enough to realize that's all it was. It wasn't, wasn't a call or try to make it any more than that. But the universe was nice enough to make sure I saw that person a couple of times. And at that particular Walmart, same thing happened with another person that worked there. Like, no matter what part of the store I was in, that person always came walking through one of them doors and always spoke and everything. So it's moments like that that you appreciate, like just like good moments. Like I said, I went on a date with that one female. The date was horrible. We did not get along, but we had that one beautiful scenery that was very special. So you gotta learn how to be thankful. Uranus, Uriel, Uranus, clear cognizance. Again, you gotta be careful by sending out double messages. And I mean, it's just something that I think is destroying this planet. Because you'll say, oh, I'm a female, so you have to. No. You still have to try. Like, you just can't start using that as an excuse. Because that's what's gonna happen. Say, oh, I don't have to. Because I don't have to. Oh, he should get it. Oh, I don't have to worry about it. And it's a freaking horrible relationship. And then people wonder why shit goes wrong. Because he's tired of catering to you all the time. But let that guy ask you to do something. And you don't want to do shit. And I see it all the time. That's why I'm being honest. I see it all the freaking time. It's sad. But that's what starts when you try to pamper someone. You don't pamper nobody. I mean, there's a time and place for everything. But not all the freaking time. And plus, it should be mutual. So that's where it's at now. That one side is ready to give up because why? They still have all their male friends and they can always go back if they want to, and they're drama queens. So they're ready to tap out no matter what. And then you got another side that thought about it, but the more he gets burned, the more he's going to say, you know, F these bees. And then he's going to start burning people. So that's what happens when you have immaturity. So that's why the next card that came out was Azrael, which is Capricorn energy ruled by Saturn. So it is about maturity. And again, I'm not saying people have to be so mature that they don't have fun anymore, but they also can't be so immature that they're still conducting themselves like some young girl that hasn't grown up yet. Anybody in your life has feelings just like you do. So we have to make sure we respect those feelings however we do it. So that would be the answer. You'd have to be honest with yourself. Do I want to be patient? Am I willing to nurture to help make this a better situation? Am I willing to examine myself? Am I willing to put myself in that person's shoes? Would I like somebody doing this to me? How can I avoid being inconsistent? That's why I say, when you see people when they have a job and they really want it, let me finish this first, and then we're going to go back and do this again, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And Azrael or Capricorn or Saturn energy is saying, grow up. Gotta act like adults. We can't act like we're still in junior high school or high school. People have feelings. What do I really want? What do I really want to get? Do I really want anything? Am I just holding on to somebody for whatever reason? Some selfish, vain reason. What's going on with me? Let's grow up and deal with it. Now, let me show you the difference between a person, in this case we're going to say a female, if this was a job. Say if these are the requirements. Well, Sharika, do you think you can be patient? Oh yes, Mr. Employer. I can be very patient. I'll do whatever it takes to get the job done. You best believe when I'm done, you'll be satisfied and you'll know that I'm determined to make this union work. I'm ready to go the distance and beyond, sir. Interesting. If only you women said that in relationships. Okay. Now, second. Well, Sharika, this position requires a lot of self-examination. Do you think you have the professionalism and the maturity to examine yourself? Oh, of course I do. I like commendation. I like when people let me know. Aries, that way I'm aware of it. I know what to look for. I know what to work for. I'm constantly looking for ways to improve myself and my situation with my employer. Because the better we are as single, we become better as a group and collectively. And we become a better company. Which means more revenue for everyone. Ta-ta! Okay, Sharika, we see you got a Uranus retrograde. That could be a little crazy. You know, 1 minute you're saying one thing, next minute you're doing the next. That could really drive somebody crazy. How do you think you're going to deal with that? Oh, well, now that I'm aware of it, I'll be humble enough that when this happens, if it's brought to my attention, I'll definitely deal with it maturely. Or I'll even do self-evaluations on a regular basis to make sure I'm not saying one thing and doing another. Alrighty. We see here Capricorn energy, Azrael energy. This is your career. That's Capricorn, the 10th house. Now, what are you going to do to make sure you got the professionalism and the maturity to hold down this position and make sure you're making Saturn your employer, your boss, the masculine part of this relationship? Well, sir, I definitely know This requires maturity. Nothing's going to work if we're acting like kids. We're not kids anymore, sir. And I'm very much aware of that. So I'm not going to sit here and pout and cry. I would never treat you like most women treat their husbands in America and other parts of the world. I would never do that. And if I had a bad day, sir, I'd be mature enough to apologize and deal with it. Nobody's perfect. That's what makes the world so great. We all know we're not perfect, but we're all working together. So that's the difference between the person in a relationship that says, fuck it, not my fault, and a person that goes into a career where they like the money, or they like the career, or they like the prestige. Totally different person. And that the person you just heard will keep that job 16, 17, 18 years. But that other person, within the first 2 years, fuck you. That's why I'm fucking your brother. So that's what the real problem is, boys and girls. We have to have reality checks and deal with it if we really want it. But most of us just enjoy talking shit on YouTube and acting like we care and acting like we really want to change when we ain't changing shit. So what the universe does is send people like me that just don't give a fuck. Because I'm about telling the truth. And hopefully somebody hears it and does something about it. So that maybe somebody, somewhere, can know what it's like to have a real relationship where the person next to you is just as eager to make this thing work as you are. Instead of you pulling and carrying and out your teeth, where even if you got kids, it's like you got to be a parent to everybody. The person that's supposed to be your partner, you got to be a parent to them, and you got to be a parent to the freaking kids. And you wonder why ladies are pulling their hair out of their hairs and all kind of crazy shit. All right, so I like the one you asked about 888. That's been a recurring on these readings. It was funny. The more recent new moon reading had nothing to do about spirituality over material thinking. But almost every other reading we've done since last year was spirituality over material. Now we'll just do the 888. Now, for some reason, a lot of casinos came up with 888, but that's not just it, though. So now I'm going to YouTube, but I use a Yahoo search engine. A lot of 888 took you right to casinos and things like that. Because remember, the 8th house of the zodiac is about money and can be about gambling and investments and things of that nature, possibly greed, possibly. All right, but now we're on YouTube for 888. Oh, guess who came up first? The late great Extentation. Infinity 888. Next one is Cave Town 888. Next one is 888 The Band. Critical Mistakes. And this person says angel number 888, Time to Blossom. And this is the transformation butterfly. She did this a year ago. She had 33K views, so that's 33. Angels are everywhere and always leave us signs along our life path. If you've been seeing 888 everywhere on a daily basis. So, what I'm going to do is put, because I can't play her, they're going to get me for copyright infringement. So I can't play her, but while I'm looking around for this 888, I'm going to play what she's talking about. So I'm going to put this on pause. I don't know if this means anything, but one of these 888s is the exact numbers of where my package was at. So I'm looking at it. But ironically, it's in some type of language. It has an Asian female but it says in gay 29/3. And ironically, it was put online just 7 hours ago. So that's interesting. So that's some type of message. So transformation butterfly is saying if you're seeing number 888, the angels are trying to communicate with you. But what I was trying to tell you is that John Elias, John Elias, again 33,000 views 2 years ago. 888 Secrets of Jesus. The name Jesus is an ancient code. The 888 Secrets of Jesus is 9 minutes 43 minutes long. So, again, while I'm looking around, I'm just listening to these people. Because I kind of already know. Because anybody used to watch the Rocks when he used to always talk about this stuff. So I kind of know, but I want other people. I want to give references for other people to see. Because it is what it is. It is what it is. You're always being... They're always trying to contact. But once you get into this world, you're in a matrix. And the people that, like I said, it's a democracy. And that's why they really, really don't... They train you to stay in disobedience. They don't train you to be better wives. They don't train you to be better husbands. They don't train you to keep your family together. In fact, they do everything to break the family up. It's a demon running this. It's a democracy. So the universe has to keep trying to get your attention, get your attention, get your attention. And it doesn't always work. Because like I said, I see a lot of people that go down, but then they go right back. Like they'll start to change and realize, well, I got to get out this matrix. But then they fall right back in because bills got to get paid or somebody pisses them off and they forget about spirituality or whatever it took. So what we do is just try to kick it the best we can, tell it the way we can, and then we just have to let it go. And after that, all you can do is pray. But you can't, if people are not ready, they're not ready. And at the end of the day, some people will choose the physical world over the spiritual one to their own demise. But it is a choice. Each person has to choose what they're going to do with their life and how they're going to do it. All right, I'm going to put this on pause, and I'll be back shortly. All right, so on that paper you're going to get, which is answering all your angel questions, you're going to see the 2 videos about the 888. But that is the name of Jesus. Some people say the secret name of Jesus. But there's also 88 constellations above us. So that's that secret number. And then also, in other ways, it can also bless you with finances and things going on in the 8th house. It can either take you deeper into the 8th house or, like I said, bless you with good fortune, finances. It just all depends. And as I said, with Juno in Gemini, and it's going to be at 22 degrees at the new moon, he may also have new opportunities coming into his life as well. And that's why I said a lot of times with females, they kind of play games, and then when it comes time to move on, now all of a sudden they're upset or mad, and it's still trying to hold on. But you're like I have females that we never would talk. Literally days would go by, weeks would go by, never talk. And I finally would get mad and say, okay, that's it. You know, we don't never talk. I'm gonna go ahead and find somebody else because we're supposed to be in a relationship. We don't never talk. And then they would stalk you and call you forever. Say, ah, you didn't call me when we were in a relationship. Now I don't want to be in a relationship with you. And now you won't stop calling. And one female literally took the phone, unplugged it, took it out the socket, left it that way for a long time. And then one day I was just cleaning up the room and noticed the wire was out and plugged the wire in, and the phone was still ringing. And I picked it up and it still was her. So I still hung up again. So the whole Jeremiah is saying you got to study those watery emotions or any form of obsession or manipulation. All this is coming out the 8th house. In fact, on your piece of paper, I'm going to go to the free report, take that whole 8th house and put it on your piece of paper as well. And I put the 2 websites about the 888 on it, on that piece of paper as well. Remember, Scorpio rules the 8th house and Pluto rules Scorpio. So they really both rule the 8th house. That's for the 8th house. So all this information is in your question number 6. All right. So those were 2 good those were 2 good questions because you asked about the 888. And that's the invitation from Jesus Christ. That's what 888 is. Dear Archangels, what guidance can you give her in relation to her spiritual path at this point in her life? I'll be back with the answers. 4 cards wanted to answer that question. Just give me a moment as I get a little organized here. Card is Azrael again. Comfort. I am with you in your time of need to help your heart to heal. Helping your heart to heal. And remember, last time Azrael came, it was basically about the whole more maturity. So he's helping you with all those areas. And again, when you see hello from family, that's what that means too, because they're helping you in your life best they can. So just accept the help of Azrael. And again, when we look at the Capricorn in your 10th house's career at 3 degrees, but again, 3 degrees, ironically, is still Gemini energy or stuff like that. So, even your chart is saying that, like, it's going to take a measure of maturity. Like, you can't be a typical female on this planet, or especially in America and the West, because they've gone too far. They're too far, where it's all about them vanity and no matter what. And because a lot of guys still think with their dicks, that's why it's never going to change. Because these men are weak. Like, they'll kick my ass, but they won't do anything with her. So until you get back to the point where, listen, this is a relationship. We both got to put in, we both got to put out. If we were married, it should never be a case when a man's sitting on his ass and the female's doing the babies and doing that. I see why she go crazy or cheat on your ass. I don't even blame her. Can never be that way. Like, this is maturity. If you're talking about a relationship, this is maturity. We both have to do our part. And she should know that you're there for her, but you got to be there for him at the same time. Like, the same energy you give your employer, if you're a good worker and all that, that would be so beautiful if you brought that same energy home. Oh, hell no, my kitchen ain't gonna look fucked up. Oh, hell no, my bathroom's not gonna look fucked up. I won't want my boss to see this. I could get fired. Because that's like a BS. Oh, well, you know, a relationship is not a job. But why do you put so much emphasis on a job? Why don't you put more emphasis on the relationship? Why don't you tell your boss, hey, listen, you'll never be my husband. No matter what, my husband comes first, sir. You want to fire me? Go ahead. My husband will help me find another job. You never say that shit, but you damn sure tell your husband or your boyfriend, kiss my ass. I've got a job. I don't need you. You broke ass mother. So that's what's going on. Azrael is Capricorn. It's that more mature energy. And you see medium Coeli is part of your true north node. So when I go to your true north node, guess who's there? Virgo. But who rules Virgo? Mercury. What else does Mercury rule? Gemini. But who's there? Saturn. Didn't I just say Saturn is the more mature? And then Sagittarius is 14 degrees. And that's, again, Sagittarius is like your higher self, but it's the more mature person, the person with class and stuff like that. And then your Saturn's in 7 degrees, and that's Cancer energy, the family, and could be with your boyfriend or whoever, could also be family. And then when you go to your 4th house, you see the part of fortune or good fortune at 7 degrees again, which is the Chariot card, or the Cancer energy. Next card, Sandalphon. First time Sandalphon has shown up in this entire read, and he is a spiritual one, and that's what you asked about. What guidance can Spirit give me in relation to my spiritual point, my spiritual path at this time? And Sandalphon says, victory, blowing the trumpet. Your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. Now, why does he say victory? Because you're becoming more aware of the spiritual aspect of life, which in the spirit realm, that's way more important than the material aspect of life. And it's funny that Jesus should be 888, because 8 is the number of the materials. It's the 8th house, and that's a lot of business. But it's spiritual too, but it's more like paraneural spirituality, paraneural, mystical stuff, and alternative science, and so Sandalphon is Pisces energy. Which is victory. Next card. Why, Haniel again, and there go the doves. Haniel corresponds with the moon. 3 doves. And the name of the card is Moon Cycles. And we got a new moon coming up, and you hear me talking about intentions on your new moon video. How it works: you lay the intentions down during the new moon, and by the full moon, you should start to see manifestations of your intentions. Notice how the moon affects your energy and manifestations, and capitalize upon the cycles. And again, your moon sign is Aquarius. And there's going to be a lot going on with Aquarius with this new moon. Which we do talk about and a new moon April 5th, 2019 video. And ironically, Aquarius can be a lot like Gemini. Doesn't really like to go deep. Final card. What guidance can Spirit give her in relation to her spiritual path at this point in her life? Wow, Jophiel, get outdoors. Jophiel, Libra energy, and that's for relationships. The 7th house. Go outside, get some fresh air, and connect with nature to relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. Now, since you wanted 7 questions, we did 6 because I felt like that it was the same question. Now, if you wanted the 7th question, I can still do it, but that will be answered by the 6-card tarot. If you've ever seen me do the 6-card tarot, it's very accurate. So just so you know, so if you want a 7 question answered, then it would be answered by the 6-card tarot. All right. We want to thank the Archangels for the read. It's always a pleasure to be in the presence of the Archangels. So much love, so much honesty, so much power, so much strength. They definitely changed my life. And that's why I'm trying to tell you guys. A lot of you guys keep relying on this fake stuff on YouTube. Don't deal with fake people. It's not going to help you. A lot of you people are relying on third dimensional. Third dimensional is to destroy you. Even the word democracy, you can spell the name destruction out of that, demolition out of that. You gotta learn how to do etymology, because that's what the devil wants. He wants you dead. He wants your relationships dysfunctional and fucked up, and he wants you on your way to hell. And most of you don't even believe in hell. So he's done his job. He's done a great job. So the bottom line is, like when I met the Archangels, they pulled me out of the hell, and I came out kicking and fighting. I used to curse them out. I didn't like the crap they were talking. Didn't like that they were trying to tell me I was wrong when I knew I wasn't wrong. I knew my twin was a nut job. Nothing different than what I've seen since I've been on this planet. And nowhere in the world you're going to try to blame me for her actions. So I came in fighting. And I remember they stopped. Like when I used to do angel readings, they didn't even want to answer me. I could feel it. Like they were reluctant. Because I would be piercing. Like, what do you mean by that? Be more specific. Like I was really like, don't talk this crap to me if it's not true. Because I came out of a cult in the 1980s or 1990s, and I swore I would never be manipulated or lied to again. And I really meant that. So this was a long journey to see me change and to see how these archangels really care. And they gave me excellent advice. Changed everything about my life. From income to everything. To outlook. You name it. Because the archangels, they changed it. That's why to me, Doreen Virtue will always be a legend. I don't care about what she's doing right now or what happened. I don't care about none of that crap. She will always be a legend because she gave us these Archangel cards. So I know they have your best interest at heart. And I'm going to tell the people that are listening one more time. Stop allowing yourself to be lied to. Stop allowing yourself to be lied to by people that use words like democracies, and you look on their money and all you see is stuff from ancient Egypt and all kind of stuff. You have to connect back to source. And you are a spirit person having a human fleshly experience. But again, you don't want to go all the way down to the human or fleshly level because it's the base. It's too earthly, too selfish, too animalistic, too narcissistic. So you have to be able to realize you're a spirit person and bring it up. What do you want out of this? What are you hoping to avoid? Are you respecting the feelings of other people around you, not just using people to suit your needs? And when you start to get on that path and you start to seek out and search for people on that same or similar path, that's where you can find this happiness, because you're no longer self-destructing each other. You're no longer destabilizing each other. You've finally become grown. You've gotten past trust issues and pain, and now y'all can move on to a more happier situation with either each other or the other people around you. This is Get. Remember, got all kind of offers going on. You can check them out on YouTube. They're out there on Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. You can also contact. That information is given as well in the description box. God bless.